Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, 2 weeks today, the European parliamentary election voting will take place in this country, and Nigel Farage's Brexit party is riding high so far in opinion polls, and a number of Remain supporting parties seem likely to split the pro-European vote. So the activist Gina Miller is launching a tactical voting website to try and overcome that. And she joins me now. Welcome to you. Why do we need your website?
Well, we think that remainunited.org will actually level the playing field and explain, actually, it's not just the tactical page, it's explaining these elections because they're very different from normal general elections we have in the UK or local elections. It uses a very particular mathematical proportional representation system, which means that now we have the Brexit Party and Change UK, it actually will change the outcome significantly because on the Change UK, if that's on the side of the ledger, if you like, with the other Remain parties, they will significantly split the vote. And the Brexit Party, if they get a high turnout of voting for them, that could also skew the vote. So what we're saying to people on the Remain side is think about in your region, you're voting for one leading Remain party to try and smooth out that anomaly.
But are you effectively saying, you know, vote for change, abandon the Lib Dems and the SNP, for example?
No, we're not saying anything. What we've done is we've used a very advanced statistical system called machine learning, and the algorithm has actually looked at people's specific profiles and behaviours and political persuasion, their age, gender, occupation, and worked out what it would likely be.
So people do this, and at the end of it, it tells them which one to vote for?
No. We've done it, and it's recommended. The data, we've shown no favour or fear or bias to any party. And it's recommended in each of the 11 areas because Northern Ireland is different. So we've sort of put that to one side. It's recommended which lead Remain party you should get behind.
And this is with a view to achieving what?
With trying to level the playing field so that you get sort of, if 50% of Remain voters tactically voted, that would increase the seats held by Remain MEPs, if you like, who support the EU, by 60%.
So it's about increasing the number of MEPs.
Yes, it's about increasing the number of Remain supporting pro-EU MEPs.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it just seems to me in terms of political analysis, people are going to add up what Change gets and what the Greens and the SNP and Lib Dems get, and they say that's going to be the Remain vote, and on the other side they're going to add up UKIP and Brexit and the other.
And that makes sense.
And that's really probably all that matters, isn't it?
Well, that makes sense from the point of view, if I go back to that leisure and you see, well, where's the UK if you add up, as you say, all the Brexit parties together and all the Remain parties. But actually, if our MEPs take their seats on the 2nd of July, if there is this block of Brexit MEPs sitting there who have said that they're going to be destructive, then we need to balance that out with MEPs, we believe, MEPs who are more supportive of the EU to try and have a level of playing field.
But the only way you can do that is by concentrating on one party.
Exactly. So it's one party in each region, one Remain party in each region.
And what's your conclusion, for example? I mean, in the southwest, say, who should you vote for?
Well, actually, our conclusion is that if that tactical voting were to take part, that Labour would lose some seats because we've treated Labour as a pro-Brexit party for these polls because that's where we believe they sit, and UKIP could lose 3. So what you would see is an increase of by, as I said, 60%, so another 6 MEPs across the regions.
Yeah, but
and the winners are Lib Dems. I have to say it's quite clear because of the anomaly.
So you're saying in that area vote Lib Dem?
Yes, we are.
And in London?
In London, I'm afraid it is also Lib Dems. I mean, it's quite extraordinary, but that the anomaly of having another Remain party has really skewed the data.
So what regions is it not vote Lib Dem?
In the Scotland and in Wales, it's an interesting dynamic in Wales, actually. The 3 parties are very close, so it's getting behind one party in Wales. But
and which
across
one's
the
that?
board, Plaid. And I have to say, across the board, and as I said, to just stress, this is what's coming, the data's throwing out. It's Lib Dems, and it's all building on what we've seen in the local elections.
And SNP in Scotland.
And SNP in Scotland.
So, I mean, you're not affiliated, but
I'm not at all.
The conclusion of that would be Change UK has been a bit of a disaster.
Because it's not that they've been a disaster. I think the message for everybody on the Remain side very strongly is you've got to get out and vote, because a low vote turnout will actually favour the Brexit party. So, you know, first message is Remain voters, you've got to get out and vote for Remain party. But if you want to ensure that there is a Remain MEP sitting representing the UK, and that's the face of the UK, you need to get behind one party. In most of the regions, I'm afraid that's Lib Dems, or whichever way you go, afraid or not, that's Lib Dems.
And the message seems to be that it's just not worth considering either the Conservative Party or the Labour Party if you are someone who wants to remain in the EU.
I think for what we've done is we've treated both of them on the pro-Brexit side. I mean, if Labour were to change and come out with a definitive statement which said, you know, we are either backing a vote in all circumstances, or that we are not backing Brexit, you know, if they came up with a statement that's unequivocal, then we are going to rerun the data anyway and publish it on the 21st of May. But we would put them on the other side of the ledger. We put them in Remain.
And you set up the website. Who's paying for that?
Me.
You personally?
To date, it has been it's difficult because we only heard that the elections were going ahead a couple of days ago, but we started looking at this a couple of weeks ago. I commissioned the research. To date, it is all funded by me, and of course, there's a donation.
And are you
page.
subject to election law? Or?
Yes, we are. We are, and that regulatory period, started in January, and we are complying fully.
And will you be hoping, presumably, if you get extra funding, to be doing more campaigning over the next 2 weeks?
Oh, absolutely. If we can get some funding, we would be I would be out around the country in the different regions. We would be spending it on awareness, because turnout is so important in this.
If the Brexit Party comes first, as the opinion polls are suggesting at the moment, that's, you know, we saw what happened the last time these European elections happened when UKIP came first. That had a very significant effect on the Tory party. And if the Brexit Party comes first, isn't the reality that the cause of leaving the European Union, quite possibly without a deal on WTO terms, is going to be vastly strengthened?
I think it will be. But at that point, I think that I would say to the people involved in the Brexit Party that you've had many, many years of wanting to leave the EU. It will be time, if that is the case, to explain in detail what you see leaving the EU actually means. Clean break. There is no such thing. You're going to have to be held to account to explain what that means to the British public.
I mean, you started the whole campaign, your pursuit in the Supreme Court for the meaningful vote, because you wanted to stop Brexit.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The case,
well, your son said, "What are you going to do about it?" And you said
no. I said it's about the law. It was about the law, because at that time I could not see, and I still don't see, how Article 50 triggering without any sort of parliamentary scrutiny is democracy.
But are you denying that you would like to see Brexit stopped?
I have always said that I voted Remain. The day after the election, I said we're all Brexiteers now. We have to come together and get the best possible deal. I've gone full back and said where we are today is damaging. We are in a place where nothing is happening in Britain. We are totally ignoring our country. We've got to make a decision one way or the other. And I actually say it's actually, if it's no deal, then find the ways to do that. But we have to come to a decision. Obviously, personally, I would say Remain.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.